Good evening, East Alabama to West Georgia. Dr. Don with you on your Sunday evening. As promised, we're going to talk to you a little bit about some mighty cold temperatures headed our way just in time for Christmas and the possibility of maybe a snowflake or two as we head into Christmas weekend. But first, let's talk about the big news. The big news is going to be the cold temperatures. We're not looking at a major winter storm as far as precipitation is concerned, but I think we are looking at some very dangerous temperatures on the way toward the end of the week. So let's get started with our temperatures expected at about 5 o'clock on Friday morning. This is when all this is going to start. As we go into the overnight hours Thursday night, we could have some rain break out after about midnight. And then as we head toward daybreak on Friday morning, we'll start the day early in the morning with temperatures at around 46 degrees in Roanoke, 51 down there in Lynette. We'll be in the upper 40s down around the Auburn-Opelika area, maybe the mid-50s in the Columbus-Phoenix City area. But look back off to the west, back over toward Tuscaloosa at the same time. It will be around 27 degrees. Again, this is around 5 o'clock on Friday morning. So about a 20-degree difference in temperature between East Alabama and West Alabama at 5 a.m. Friday morning. So what that's telling us is the temperature is going to take a nosedive, and it's going to happen fast. We're going to drop about 20 degrees in the matter of a couple of hours on Friday morning. So let's head toward the models at about 8:30, 9 o'clock on Friday morning. It's already 25 degrees in Roanoke. Now we're going from a temperature of 46 degrees at 5 a.m. to a temperature of 25 degrees by 9 a.m. Friday morning. Maybe the right around freezing down there around Columbus, Phoenix City at about the same time on Friday morning. So then we head toward 7 p.m. on Friday evening. We're looking at the mid-teens in Roanoke, around 18 in Lynette, 19 in Auburn, 20 degrees in Columbus by 7 p.m. Friday evening. All right, so let's look at the wind chill factors. We'll start at about 6:30 on Friday morning. The wind chill factor in Roanoke, Alabama. Now, this is what it's going to feel like. The wind chill factor in Roanoke, Alabama at 6:30 Friday morning, 2.9 degrees above freezing. Look up there at Villa Rica, right at 0. Anniston, 1.2 degrees. Up there in Fayette, Alabama, below 0. 3 degrees over in Tuscaloosa, 1.6 degrees in Birmingham. That is cold, folks. That's what it's going to feel like to your skin at around 6:30 Friday morning. And then as we head towards 6 a.m. Saturday morning, look at that. We're at 4 degrees below 0 in Roanoke. This is wind chill. This is not actual temperature. We're looking at about 2 degrees below 0 in Lynette, about 0 in Auburn, and about 1 degree above 0 down there in Columbus, Phoenix City. This is the wind chill factor, because we're going to have a northwest wind gusting 20 to 30 miles per hour that's going to come in with that cold front early Friday morning. And so that is going to cause for a very windy, blustery, raw, cold, dangerously cold day during the day on Friday across East Alabama and West Georgia. So let's look at precipitation, because I know that's what all of you want to know. Is it going to snow? And for all practical purposes, the answer to that question is no. When we talk about snow, we're talking about accumulation of 1 inch or greater, and we're not going to see that. Could we see some snow flurries on the back end of the rain as it moves out on Friday morning? Yes, we could. This is the GFS model at 6 a.m. Friday morning, and you can see that it is showing snow showers across East Alabama and West Georgia. And then we'll look at the Euro at the same time. It is still showing rain at that particular time, but the snow is off to the west and would move in a little after 7 a.m. on Friday morning. But look at how narrow that band of snow is. If this particular model is correct, it's just not going to amount to much of anything at all. As a matter of fact, the weather system that's moving through probably won't produce much snow at all. It's the cold temperatures wringing out all the moisture in the air that may produce a snow shower or two right on the back end of the precipitation as it moves through early on Friday morning. Understand that to get a good snow across East Alabama and West Georgia, we have to have a low pressure system in the Gulf of Mexico, and that's where our precipitation has to come from. That's not going to be the case with Friday's system. What we're looking at late Thursday night into early Friday morning is a cold front coming down from the northwest that'll be ushering in all of this cold Arctic air from the northwest. So it's not going to have a tremendous amount of moisture involved with it. And as a matter of fact, it may get so cold so fast it will dry out the atmosphere, and there will be very little precipitation left once it's cold enough to actually snow, which would be toward daybreak on Friday morning. So again, we're not anticipating a major deal from the precipitation. The cold temperatures and the wind chill factors will be the issue as we head toward Friday morning. So you need to make sure that you are prepared for this cold weather. Make sure to bundle up and wear layers of clothing. If you're going to be outdoors, have extra blankets ready in case power goes out. Check in with family and neighbors, especially those who are more at risk, such as elderly or the disabled. Make sure you protect your pipes. Now, you've got several days to do this stuff to prevent your pipes from freezing and possibly bursting, or outdoor pipes. Pipes could be wrapped. They need to be drained or to allow for a slow drip to keep them from freezing as we head toward Friday. Make sure you stay weather aware throughout this week. Make sure you have a good app on your phone. You know the story here. You know what I'm going to say. Make sure you have a NOAA weather radio. Now, that's not just for severe weather. They give weather bulletins and broadcast during winter weather as well. So make sure you have a NOAA weather radio. Make sure you protect your plants. If you've planted stuff outside or you have tender vegetation outside, they're going to have to come inside. Make sure that your car has supplies such as water and blankets. A lot of folks are going to be traveling this weekend. It's Christmas weekend, so make sure you have extra supplies in your automobile, such as water and blankets, in case that you're traveling anywhere and you become stranded for whatever reason. You're going to be happy that you got those blankets and water and maybe some extra food in that automobile with you, and of course your pets. You need to make plans to bring your pets inside. Now, we're not talking about one night of temperatures down in the 20s or teens. We're talking about at least 2 and probably 3 nights below freezing. On Friday and Saturday night, well below freezing with a howling northwest wind. This is not the type of weather that you want to leave your animals outdoors. They got to come inside. You've got to make plans for your animals. This would be deadly to any animal that's left outside Friday night, Saturday night, and or Sunday night. So make sure that you take care of these items this week. You got plenty of time. This is not going to happen until probably early Friday morning when the coldest of the air will be arriving across East Alabama and West Georgia. So that's kind of a quick run through on what we expect coming up this Christmas weekend. So what I'll do now is go back up to the chat room and see if anyone has any questions. If I didn't answer a particular question, now's a good time to post it, and I'll be answering a few questions for you before we wrap this up this evening. Of course, we'd love for you to support us here on Dr. Don's Weather. The links are there in the chat room. All you have to do is click on that donate button or the Dr. Don DonWX.com button and help support us if you can. We certainly appreciate it. That's what keeps us going. I know we haven't spent a whole lot of time together here in the last several months. We just haven't had a lot of weather to talk about, and that's a good thing. I appreciate that. No, Don will not run for president. I can guarantee you. Let's see who we got in here tonight. Merry Christmas from Ozark, Alabama. Good evening to you there, Ozark. Valley, Alabama's in the house. There's Miss Emily. Yes, it is cold. Newell, Alabama. There's Jackie. Yes, Tammy, it will snow. Just not in Rock Mills. Yeah, Patricia, if your pipes are buried, a foot to 2 feet deep, you don't really have to do that. I mean, if they're like sitting right on top of the ground, yeah, you probably do. But if you've got those pipes buried at least a foot, preferably 2 feet down here in the south, you're okay at 32. Now, if we're talking about going down to overnight lows in the mid to low teens or upper single digits, that might be a different story. Is Blue Ridge, Georgia getting snow? Yeah, you're probably going to see a little dusting up there. As a matter of fact, Tuesday up here in northeast Georgia, we may have to deal with some wintry mix throughout the day on Tuesday. And then as we head into early Friday morning, it looks like the chances of seeing any accumulating snow are going to be much better across North Georgia and North Alabama, especially up in the higher elevations. So that'd be across the Appalachian chain and north. So Blue Ridge, that would get you on Friday morning. Maybe a dusting to a half inch of snow would be possible up there in Blue Ridge. Thank you, Mark Hall. Mark's one of our supporters here. We appreciate your comments. Ice patches on the road Friday morning? Probably not, and the reason being the wind. The wind will dry the road off quickly, and understand this air that's coming in, we're talking the relative humidity levels are going to go from probably the low 90s to probably down in the 20s or 30s in a matter of just a couple of hours. So we're going to go from saturated moisture air that's wet to as dry a air as you can get in just a couple of 2 or 3 hours. So what happens when that really dry air gets here, any water that's left on the roadway, the dry, low relative humidity air coupled with that wind is going to evaporate that water almost instantly. So, we can't completely rule out a few patches of ice here and there, but I would not expect there to be widespread ice, not enough to cause an issue on the roadways anyway. The cold air and the cold temperatures are going to be the problem if you're going to be traveling on Friday. Yeah, and so Brian brings up a good point there about space heaters. I know a lot of folks are going to be using space heaters when it gets this cold. Understand, folks, that that's very dangerous. And if you're going to be using an electric heater or a space heater, be sure you do it the safe way. Do not use extension cords. Make sure you plug it directly into the receptacle. Make sure that it's clear all the way around the electric heater. Don't ever leave an electric heater unattended. Make sure it's right there in front of you where you can see it. It's not even safe really to sleep with an electric heater. But if you absolutely have to, make sure it's in the same room where you're sleeping. In other words, don't turn an electric heater on and leave it in a different room overnight unattended. That's just not safe. Gas heaters, you got to make sure all those things are done properly as well. Of course, you got to make sure you're ventilated properly if you're going to be using gas. Be careful out there, folks. A lot of folks are going to be heating with electric heat, going to be heating with fireplaces. Make sure your fireplace is in good working order. If you haven't had your chimney cleaned this year, you got all week long to get this stuff done before it gets so seriously cold. So make sure that we stay safe through this period of very cold temperatures. Thank you, Cassandra. Merry Christmas to you and your family. You know, one thing that you need to be prepared for, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we're going to have, the wind is going to be crazy. I'm talking 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gust with sustained winds, probably 15 to 20 as this cold front moves through the area on Friday morning. So there could be a few scattered power outages. So make sure you have supplies with you in case you do lose power for several hours on Friday. It's been well over 5 years since we've seen temperatures like this, and it's been quite some time since we've gone from the mid-50s down into the teens in a matter of 3 or 4 hours. So it's going to be a major change. It's going to happen awfully fast, and that's going to be on Friday morning. So let me run through the temperatures for you one more time before we wrap this up this evening. So here's what we're looking at about 5 a.m. on Friday morning. We'll be in the mid-40s across East Alabama and West Georgia. Some locations will be in the mid-50s at that hour. But look back over into West Alabama. It's already 27 degrees in Tuscaloosa. And then we head toward 8:30 on Friday morning. It's already in the mid-20s. Across most of East Alabama and West Georgia, maybe some mid-30s down there around Columbus by that time. And then on Friday evening at around 7:15, we're at 16 degrees in Roanoke, 20 in Columbus, 17 in Alexander City. Auburn's at 19 degrees at about 7:15 on Friday evening. And then here we go, some wind chill factors. This is going to be at about 6:30 on Friday morning. This is because of the wind that's going to be blowing in from the northwest. It's going to feel like 3 degrees in Roanoke early Friday morning, 7 degrees down there in Columbus, 4 in Alexander City, 3 degrees in Sylacauga. And then look at Saturday morning, 6 a.m., -4 in Roanoke. -2 in Alexander City, 0 in Auburn, 1 above down in Columbus. These are the wind chill factors for 6 a.m. Saturday morning. And then one more look at the possible precipitation. This is the GFS model at 6 a.m. on Friday morning, showing a little changeover to snow right there across East Alabama and West Georgia. Again, understand this is not measurable snow. This may be an hour and a half, maybe, of just a mixture of rain and snow, maybe changing over to completely snow for about 30 minutes or so on the very tail end of this. And the wind is going to be blowing. It's going to, you can remember some of those situations where we had rain, or rather snow, blowing sideways. I think that's what we're looking at Friday morning, right at sunrise. It's not going to really accumulate that much. Maybe some grassy areas on the rooftops, maybe a little bit, but not on the roadways. Understand the surface temperature will still be well above freezing when this moves in, so it's going to take a while for the ground to get cold enough to support snow. So any snow that falls Friday morning will not stick, especially on roadways or bridges. So that It's not even remotely an issue at this point unless something changes between now and then. And I got to tell you, I feel pretty confident about this forecast at this point. We just don't see enough moisture with this system to bring us any measurable snow across East Alabama and West Georgia. And one more look here. This is the Euro at about the same time. It's a little bit later with the snow coming in. As you can see, it's only about a county and a half wide when it moves across Alabama. So really, that's only about 15 or 20 minutes worth of snow right on the tail end of the precipitation shield as it comes through right around sunrise on Friday morning. Freddie. Yeah, lake effect snow off of Lake Wedowee or Lake West Point. Yeah, I wouldn't expect that. The body of water is not big enough. Absolutely. Check coolant and antifreeze levels in your vehicles. Gotta have that done before Friday. This will be cold enough weather to crack that block on your automobile if you don't have the proper antifreeze in it. Merry Christmas, Brenda. Yeah, again, for those of you up here in northeast Georgia, we will have a couple of opportunities for snow, maybe a mixture of rain, sleet, snow on Tuesday throughout the day. Nothing really measurable. And then again, Friday morning, when this system moves through East Alabama and West Georgia, we stand a little better chance at seeing snowfall up here in the northeast Georgia mountains. And then that will extend north on up into North Carolina and the Great Smoky Mountains. But even in those areas across northeast Georgia, we're probably looking, if anything were to accumulate, it would be less than an inch. And probably more like just a dusting. And then as you get on up there in the higher elevations of the Great Smokies, you could be looking at a couple of inches up there. That would be Friday morning, not expecting any accumulation on Tuesday. So, yeah, pretty much the same for Decatur also. You'd be looking at just a dusting. So that's what we're looking at right now, folks. We'll keep an eye on this forecast as we go throughout the week. And, of course, if there are any major changes, I'll come back to you and we'll go live again. But I got to tell you, the snow portion of all of this is pretty much a non-factor. The big deal and the dangerous part of this storm system is going to be the cold temperatures, the wind chill factors, and the duration of the cold. We're talking Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We will start to moderate a little bit as we get into Monday of New Year's week. But Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and here's that forecast for Christmas weekend. Friday, we're looking at very cold temperatures, winds out of the northwest. We're looking at a high temperature on Friday of 24, and that's going to come early Friday morning. Temperature will be going down all day long. We'll end up somewhere around 12 degrees Friday night. Some of the colder spots across East Alabama and West Georgia could certainly get down into the single digits on Friday night. And then on Saturday, we're looking at a cold day, though it will be sunny. 30 will be the high on Saturday, down to 18 Saturday night. And then on Christmas Day, Sunday, we're looking at a cold day. 35 degrees will be your high, with an overnight low around 20 degrees. So that's the latest as we see it here from Dr. Don's Weather. Again, like I said, I'll update you tomorrow morning in our primetime forecast, and we'll go live again probably on a Wednesday night to bring you up to date with the latest information from the National Weather Service. Hope you have a fantastic remainder of your Sunday. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. I'll see you back in here first thing tomorrow morning with your primetime forecast on Dr. Don's Weather.